G'day you beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about critical strike chance and critical strike damage. I'm going to do my best to explain everything there is without opening the can of worms that is what crit chance is viable. So I know a lot of people are going to already understand everything there is to know about crit chance and crit bonus. But there are a lot of people that I'm noticing that don't understand at all what crit does, so we're gonna go over it. If you find this video in any way, shape or form useful, please smash the like button, leave me a comment if you have any questions whatsoever, or if you know that I have forgotten something, and subscribe if you're not already. But with that said, let's get straight into it. So there is two things to do with crit. There is your crit chance cards, and there are your crit bonus cards. Okay, starting off with the crit chance cards. When you apply a crit chance card, it applies a certain percentage to your build. So let's say, for example, you were at 20% crit chance. That means that you have the chance to land a crit 1 in every 5 shots. What it actually really means is that every time you take a shot, the game is rolling 100-sided dice, and if you land on 1 to 20, you're going to hit a crit. A crit without the crit bonus card will hit for an extra 50% damage, meaning that if you are hitting 100 damage on your shots and you have crit chance but not your crit bonus card, if you crit, it will hit for 150 instead of 100 because you're applying an extra 50% damage. Now the crit bonus card, the only thing that it does is ensures that when you do crit, it applies an extra 100% on top of that again. So you're effectively hitting for 250% of your normal damage. So if you are hitting for 100 and then you hit a crit, you will actually hit for 250. Instead of 100 with no crit, and instead of 150 with a crit that does not have the bonus. Okay, the crit bonus card does not stack. You cannot run 2 of them. You will not get an extra 100% on top of the 100% you already have, so you can only run that once. Now there's many different types of crit chance cards and crit bonus cards. We're not really going to go into what you should or should not run, as I believe that it is personal preference. There are some that are a little bit lackluster that you probably shouldn't run, but generally if you are using a carry, you should be probably running one with either power or attack speed or lifesteal, whichever you need. One thing we should note is that crit chance and crit bonus should not be used on casters. It is not for casters, it is for the ADCs or the carries like a Sparrow or a Murdoch. It has been a thing in the past and possibly still now that certain fighters, melee fighters, can run crit chance, but it's generally it's the general consensus now that junglers should probably be tanky. So maybe just keep that for the ADCs, for the carries. Now I think that pretty much explains what a crit is, what crit bonus is. We've covered the fact that the crit bonus does not stack. The only thing really left to talk about is what amount of crit chance you should run. Now I'm, as I said, not going to open up the can of worms and tell you what I think the best amount to run is. All I will say is that you should be running more than 50. I personally believe that you should definitely be running more than 60. Because if you were to run around 68%, that is technically 2 in every 3 shots. Okay, some people might still tell you differently and say that 64 is the best, or 58 is the 60 is the best, or 56 is the best, but that is kind of personal preference. Technically I run 72% a lot of the time. I run 80% on Wukong. People will tell you that 100% is not viable, but it actually is. Just aim for over 68% or 68% in my book. But if you feel like I am wrong and that's too much, that's okay. Okay, it's not any less viable running 68% or more. Technically the numbers kind of tend to balance themselves out a lot. Just don't run it out. My only suggestion is that you don't run sort of under 56%, because a lot of the times your chances of hitting are just not gonna pan out in your favor. So I guess the only thing left to talk about is when you should put crit on. You definitely don't want to start off the game by putting crit on. You want to, in my opinion, in my honest opinion, you want to try to get to around about 100 power before you apply any crit to your build. Otherwise your DPS is not going to be quite where it should be. You will always, your DPS will always be higher if you're building power until at least 100 power on your build. And then you can start to build some crit in, and it is good. It is a good idea to have sort of enough power, like over 100 power, so that you can actually put your crit chance on and then get crit bonus as quickly as possible. Some people do tend to, put their crit bonus on first, and then say if they have 9 points, which is what their crit bonus card is, fully upgraded, and then they have an extra 3 points left over, they'll put the crit bonus on first and then just slot that crit chance card on to get the 4% or whatever it gives them as a passive when they pick up the card. That's fine, if you want to do that. I'm not going to say that you shouldn't do that, but I would just recommend that you sort of have, say, 4 at least cheap early game cards that are giving you power. If you could get to about 120, 130 power before you slot any crit on whatsoever, that would be great. If you had the option to have maybe a cheap 6-point Spear of the Rift Hunter or something, would be a really good option, and then go into your crit bonus and then build more crit on top of that. But really, it's up to personal preference, and as long as you understand what crit chance is, what your crit bonus is, you're not doubling up on your crit bonus card, you're not running crit on a caster, you're going to be okay, and you'll get to the point where you'll realize how much crit chance is good for you, and when you should probably start putting it on. You're going to get a lot of people that are probably going to tell you that the amount of crit chance you run is wrong. I still have it today. I have no issues with making builds. I understand how it all works. I understand the math behind everything, but I still have people that tell me that I am wrong. So don't be disheartened when someone tells you that your build is shit. There's really not too much else to talk about in regards to crit. I know, as I said, a lot of people understand exactly how this works, but I have been noticing a lot of people lately on the Paragon Facebook group that have been asking about how crit chance works. So I thought I would talk about it, and I've actually nearly forgotten one important thing. Critical hits only actually work on your basic attacks. There are certain abilities and ultimates that can crit. Abilities such as Sereth's Angelic Smite, I think it's called, and Wukong's ultimate, his clones can crit. Sparrow's ultimate can crit. I think that Twin Blast can crit, or I think I might be getting confused and thinking about his old ultimate from Legacy. But in general, just as a reminder, most abilities do not crit, if not pretty much all of them. It's only a few choice abilities from some carries that can actually crit. Okay, so hopefully something in there was useful to you. If it was useful in any way, shape or form, please smash the like button. As I said, leave me a comment if you have any questions whatsoever. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And if I did actually miss anything, because I got super close to missing something there, make sure you let everyone know in the comment section down below, down there. And if you're not already subscribed, guys, please do so, so I can keep giving you even more Paragon content in the future. But that is it for now. With that said, guys, thank you so much for watching. I love your face, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.